But I do know that there are two things that women seem to require. Number one is that I show up with a certain amount of money to the table. And while my money is important to them, then their looks are important to me because I'm not looking to
Right.
get anything
Right.
from them financially. And secondly, why does a woman, even a 5'1" woman, want a man taller? Because it makes her feel feminine. I'm sure you guys have probably kicked it with some women that were close to 6 feet tall. They didn't say, I'm cool with a dude 5'8". They were like, I still want to be able to put my heels on. I want a man taller. Why? Because it makes them feel feminine. I don't know about y'all, but if you ever in bed with a woman that's your size or bigger, I want to feel masculine. And even though I may be strong enough to bench press 315, I don't want to push the bat up off me. So, because then literally, because, women be real quick to call some dude saucy or whatever. Well, then I might want to say, well, how saucy is a dude that's comfortable being in bed with a woman as big as he is? Is he used to that? And hey, again, to each his own. I know what I like. Just like I'll give mad respect to you ladies. You all know what you like, and y'all stand on it. And again, props for that. My only encouragement is that you fellas, y'all stand on what you like as well and stop being thirsty just because you want to get your little pee-pee wet. That's what I think we started. That's the real goal of what we're saying.
Right, right. All attention ain't good attention.
Yes.
Oh, she really likes me.
Yes. What's going on, everybody? It's the Iron Father Dev, where we are all about helping men recalibrate, restore, and thrive after 50. If you're in the process of maybe about to get divorced, maybe you're going through a divorce, or maybe you're rebuilding after divorce. And I'm here with my roundtable fellas, as always. We got a nice little show coming at y'all today. Here with my man Derek and Eddie Vance. What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling today?
Today's a good day.
Every day alive is always a great day.
Oh, man.
I'm happy to be back.
Good. Thank y'all. All right, we're going to get right on into it today. As always, fellas, we're going to have our kind of surprise topic that I am going to throw out here for you guys just to kind of level set and before we get to our main topic. So let's go ahead and get started. And I guess as my man said on Batman, gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. As we are out here now in the dating world post 50. Can y'all see my screen okay?
Yes.
All right. Now, my girl out here is kind of really getting some decent views out here on TikTok. And one of her videos popped up on my feed, which kind of made some sense because, I'm a fitness guy. And she popped up, but I was a bit surprised at the stuff that she said because her video says things like,
any woman that goes to the strip club is gay. And you can't go.
Oh, whoa, not that one. And you see she's showing her body.
To be in a relationship.
There we go.
When it comes to love, there are rules one must abide by, and the first one is love thy neighbor as you love yourself enough to make sure you are physically fit, emotionally fit, spiritually fit. Baby, you are not qualified to love anybody else. Feel how you want. Call it what you.
So when I looked at the comments and I was trying to find, she had a lot of videos. That's what I was a bit surprised. All right, let me look at this one.
Woman who is out of shape or overweight is a woman who does not respect herself. She does not love herself. She loves food more than her health. And she is most likely in pain and she is using food to cope with how she feels. A lot of you guys were triggered by my last video and I'm glad because you cannot have a relationship with someone that you don't have with yourself. You cannot love somebody more or better than you love yourself. Everything starts with yourself. I respect myself. Therefore, I have the discipline to go to the gym and to work out. I care about how I look. So therefore, I will go to the gym and make sure I work out.
So I looked at the comments and the comments section is really what had me kind of tripping out. Somebody said, it's giving I got left for a big girl. And she replied to that. But then, a lot of them were like this. Your obsession with bigger women is honestly concerning. It sounds like you might be dealing with some unresolved issues, maybe rooted in your own experiences growing up, blah, 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 blah. Somebody, gluttony and obesity are not the same. Girl, loving yourself has nothing to do with body type. While you in the gym, your man messing with a big girl, sure. It was the comments. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I thought the excuse fairy was coming on out here hard. Nah, some women just have PCOS and health issues, hormonal issues, thyroid issues. And I'm going to get to the facts on some of that in a moment. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up, and props to her, y'all see her name is Daisha Grady. Go give her a follow. Go check out her TikTok. She made one about church women and women in church eating or something like that. And I replied to her, I was like, yeah, I don't think they're going to invite you to the women's prayer breakfast. That's for sure. And so, but it made me think. And I'll tell one more before I hand it over to y'all. I was on one of the Facebook groups, and it was some guy put up there a woman with what do they call it, a fupa. And so it was a picture of a woman with her fupa, and it had a circle going through it and said something like, I don't care what y'all say, this is a turnoff to me. So now I'm in, again, checking out the comments. You guys, I ain't gonna lie, 9 out of 10 comments were brothers, mostly. I'll say brothers and some Latino men saying, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I love that. Oh, that just means the puss is good. Oh, you just got to lift it up and go in. And I'm just like, wow, is this where the game is at today? And so I put on there, hey, I just expect a woman to give me what I'm trying to give her. If I'm an in-shape man, I expect her to be trying to be in shape. So then a woman responded to me and said, yeah, but you showing up with an 8-pack. So what does that mean for the rest of us? And then I replied back, for me, what's important is that a woman is trying. As a 55-year-old man, I know it's not easy, but I at least want that woman to be putting in the effort, especially if she is seductive. Even if she's putting in some effort and seductive, I can work with that. And so I was thinking, in our age group, when you out here dating again over 50, you gonna run into a lot of women. And I was counseling a guy this week, and he was saying, man, the women out here are just big. And I don't want a woman as big as I am. So in you guys' experience, what do you think?
Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, because that drives me nuts. A big woman shows me her laziness. She's not willing to try and do anything. And I'm like the guy that made that comment before. I just don't like it. I don't like it. And I figured I was a big guy and I came down in weight, and it was hard. It took a lot of work and effort. And if you're not willing to put in that work and effort for yourself, then how can you ever put that work and effort in for me? No. So I agree with that. And you're attracted to what you're attracted to. I think now today these females have came to the conclusion they don't have to do anything because of Pookie and the Ray Ray is going to like it. But they always want these high valued men. Sorry, high value men don't want no pooch pocket or pudgy, whatever you want to call that booty in the front. Men don't want that. Well, I don't want that, and I know a lot of other men that don't want that. Man, this is just frustrating topic to me because, man, they call me egotistical and all type of stuff for having a standard.
Derek?
I don't know. I guess it's in the eye of the beholder. I'm not sure what this particular woman looks like. I don't mind a little weight. I'm not looking. I like curves. I like something that's proportionate. I like a thin waist, a thinner waist, some bigger hips, and broad shoulders or breast size or whatever. Hey, I'm an ass man. So with ass, you're gonna get some thighs. So I'm okay with that. I'm not looking for somebody to be so robust and this, that, and the other. And when they lay on me, I can't breathe. I'm not looking for anything like that. I like something to hold on to. I like a little meat on the bones. Again, it's got to be shapely, not something that is you moving around and it's still in the same spot that you just left. I'm not talking about something like that, but I like a little meat. Hey, they don't have to be necessarily athletic, but again, I like a little meat. A little meat.
Okay, so quantify a little meat then, because it sounds like Eddie is more okay. Eddie, what's your ideal of a little meat, or how? I know y'all aren't really big fitness guys, so I don't want to give body fat percentage, but give me somebody as an example.
Okay, like a tailored suit. You got to have that European cut. You know what I'm saying? Like
an hourglass.
Exactly. You still got to be shapely, but I don't want the lumps and bumps to overwhelm what God has already gave you that shape. Some of them just don't care. Hell, they walk outside with bonnets on their head.
Yeah, no. I mean, you got to have some pride in yourself, and here's for me. it's a matter of having the attitude that is attractive to me more so than the body. And but again, the body's got to be something that I can be attracted to. It's got to first get my attention and hold my attention. When I'm saying, oh man, I like to wake up in the morning like, dang, I like to see you naked and chase you around and do this and do that, throw you up against something, not break it, but you know what I'm saying? Do what I got to do. It's just, it's got to be proportioned. I like the hourglass shape. I'm not a person that wants us too small or big. It's got to have some proportions to it. Need them hips.
Well, you got to be careful when you say about the attitude, because a lot of these big girls have their attitude is like they're a 10 all day long. So
no, it's got to be appropriate. Let's be factual here. Oh, I'm a 10,
good point.
Fix your bonnet.
Good point, Eddie, because that was actually
sir.
something that the guy mentioned to me. He said his problem is that a lot of the women that he's running into two things. Either one, the woman does have a considerable amount of weight, but she's acting as though she's still in her prime, like when she was coming out of high school or in college. And it's like, you're not that woman anymore. And secondly, the women that aren't like that have kept their bodies in shape, well, they just got an ego that's extremely out to here, because they look at it like, oh, I know. And you know, let's just say, if you're in an ethnicity, I'm not going to call either one of them out, but if you're in an ethnicity where you already know you are, let's say, but better than average in terms of body fat percentage, you're the petite one. You're the one when you walk in there, everybody's like, girl, you still keeping yourself together. He was noting that they tend to be the ones that really, really think they all of that.
I don't know. I guess for me, I'm not going to waste my time telling somebody they got to go into the gym and do this and do that. If I see what I like what I see, I'm good. I'm not going to sit here and say, change your lifestyle for this and this. Look, be happy with who you are. And if I like who you are, I'm going to be with who you are. That's it. I'm not in the game to change somebody. It's like, look, we either going to mesh or we not. I don't have time for the rest of that stuff. I think I keep talking about this. What is it? Peace. I ain't got time for it.
Exactly. Like you got to have that attraction first. Like I said, your standards. Right. I'm not even gonna go pick a fat chick. I was married to a fat. Well, she wasn't fat when I married her, but then she was had that hourglass figure. Yeah. But then over the years, oh man, I shouldn't say this, but I don't care. She blew up like a balloon, but she still had the shape. It was just bigger. The hourglass was still there, but she was just her weight was more. So if you started off at 150, now it's probably about you triple that, about 350, 400. Monstrous. I shouldn't have said that.
You said 350, 450?
Hey, that's what I feel.
Oh, okay.
No, you said that's a little bit too much for you, huh, Derek?
Oh yeah. I can't breathe.
Okay, but Derek, now that's where I was going to go with it, because you talked about, you know, and I'm going to paraphrase a bit on, you know, how is that woman going to carry herself, how she is? Because as a man who, if I show up in shape, I found that a lot of women will start, basically, they're getting their head about their size long before I ever say anything, because I am looking at some other factors in there. Now, if I was 25 out in the game, I may be a little bit more stringent on, you know, I want a certain size if I'm presenting myself a certain way. But again, in my mid 50s, I'm not like that. I'm saying the same thing. What else do you have to offer? But it's so funny to watch women immediately. And for my married men that are listening, they really can relate. How many married men are out there that still can't have sex with their wife because she has to want the lights off? She doesn't feel comfortable getting on top. So even if it's not in your head and you can say all day long, girl, I like your curves. No, you know, that's just mommy weight. We did have X number of kids together. It's still up here because the number of voices that are coming in, shout out to Justin on Dominance Academy says this all the time. The number of voices that are coming inside of a woman's head are far more than what we have coming in ours. So at that time, when it's time to go ahead and be in bed, if she's not hitting the gym and feeling confident in herself, especially for the wives out there, then it's like, even if I am cool with it, she might have this going on inside her own head. And then what am I to do?
Yeah, but that happens regardless of you going to the gym. I don't know how many women have said same thing. Hey, well, you know, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm like, girl, you fine as I don't know what. What are you talking about? And I mean, not somebody big, somebody that, you know, hey, we've heard the stories even about Halle Berry, how insecure she feel about herself. It's like, you know, we can't help that internal struggle, but externally you look fine. I can only build you up when you're in front of me. I can't do nothing when you're away.
It's called self-esteem.
That part.
I think the key thing is a man can't give him self-esteem. And I
No.
think, especially for the husbands out there, that's usually the expectation. I mean, let's be honest. If it's just a FWB situation, does she really care? I mean, if she's overweight 9 times out of 10, especially if you catch her at the right time, she ovulating and she just want to get stuck like a pig at a luau, then it doesn't make her that much of a difference. But when she goes ahead and, again, if it's with her long-term boyfriend, or especially Eddie, like you said, she knows you met her at a certain weight and now she's bigger. And like you said, Derek, what can you do about it? And then you kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you be like, yeah, girl, you did get bigger, she might have attitude. And then if you act like, well, it don't matter, well, you just saying that because I'm your wife or your girlfriend. You can't win. Now, personally, I'm kind of a little different than you, Derek. I'm going to have my standard because I know a brother like you got your standards. So I am going to look at it as this is how I want you to look because I know I'm busting my behind in the gym nearly every day. So if I'm going to do that to you, and I think, again, men and women aren't the same, so I don't want to go to that level. But I do know that there are 2 things that women seem to require. Number one is that I show up with a certain amount of money to the table. And while my money is important to them, then their looks are important to me because I'm not looking to get anything from them financially. And secondly, why does a woman, even a 5'1" woman, want a man taller? Because it makes her feel feminine. I'm sure you guys have probably kicked it with some women that were close to 6 feet tall. They didn't say, I'm cool with a dude 5'8". They were like, I still want to be able to put my heels on. I want a man taller. Why? Because it makes them feel feminine. I don't know about y'all, but if you ever in bed with a woman that's your size or bigger, I want to feel masculine. And even though I may be strong enough to bench press 315, I don't want to push the bat up off me. So, you know, because then literally, because, you know, women be real quick to call some dude saucy or whatever. Well, then I might want to say, well, how saucy is a dude that's comfortable being in bed with a woman as big as he is? Is he used to that? As I always say, Iron Father ain't judging nothing. If somebody is, that's their business. But let's be fair with this.
Yeah. I mean, you got a point there for sure. I mean, one of the things that I think about is that attitude and that is within proportion of who they say they are. I'm not, you know, again, I'm not into the physical aspect of them having to be, let me rephrase that. I am into the physical aspect, but again, it's got to meet a certain standard as we already covered. Anybody won't do, for sure. I don't care. You know, when we talk about, we look at these reality shows, what it is, blind, what is that blind show when you get married and you never see them and they
Love is Blind, I think it is.
Love is Blind, that's it. Now, for that one, oh, it's nice to get that dialogue going and hearing that voice, but if you see them and they not right,
gotta go.
right, I'm out. Right, you know, that's all more powerful. One guy got shame galore when he went on there and he said something about, yeah, you weren't physically my type. Well, this is not about that show. But I found out about myself that I needed to be about that. And that's the reality of it. You know, you got to have, we all have our standards. Again, they have to be physically attractive to some degree. I don't mind meat. You guys got your preferences. I'm not going to shame somebody into doing whatever. But as Eddie pointed out, you know, if you with somebody and all of a sudden they're not pushing away from the table all the time, they're getting 2 and 3 plates and they going to, hey, I'm medium size. Now I'm large size. Now I'm super size. Well, we're going to have a conversation. Because here's the thing. The reality is, and we haven't never talked about this, men get married not to change her or themselves. Women get married to change the man to somebody they want them to be.
Yes.
But I'm not looking for you to change.
Exactly.
Not like that. Now you can get swing from the ceilings if you want to. We can talk about that. That's good. But yeah, I need to, you know, that meat got to be right.
I look at it like if you have your standards, you can't let society trick you out of that. Because a lot of these, I hate to keep picking on bigger women, but a lot of these women that don't even try to get themselves in a decent attire or anything, weight or anything, they just try to trick society like, oh no, it's okay. I'm living my femininity like this, but that don't look right. I don't know who told these women that these doggone mud flap eyelashes on their face looks good. That's ridiculous. Who says that? Oh, well, this guy tried to talk to me with this, and he tried to talk to me with that. No, you're dealing with losers.
Right.
What real man wants to see a woman come up there like, hey, how you doing?
I'm not dressing for you. I'm dressing for me. Oh, okay. So you okay with me telling you goodbye? Sweet.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. And I do think I have to make this point because I don't want even everybody thinking that I'm looking for a woman that like can see her abs, because I know there are that many women that can see their abs. And again, I'm a brother. I'm like y'all. I want some curves. So it's cool that a woman can see her abs, but at the same time, I don't want a woman that weighs more than me, but I also don't want a woman that is built like this either. Because then, as they say, I ain't looking like I'm over in Thailand messing around with, a ladyboy or something. So, it's what I found with most guys, and Eddie, you hit on this. It's not that we really are all that concerned about the weight per se, because it seems like most men, if you put a picture of a particular woman up, most guys might be like, here's my preference is right here, but I get with that many women, because again, we're not like women. Women will be like, nope, I want this. Then when I'm 30, it might go to that. When they're 50, it might go to that. But generally, their preference remains here. We got that variance in there for our preferences. And that's what I think most guys are cool with. But Eddie, you hit on what I'm kind of concerned. I'm tripping with this younger generation. And I was surprised that the young lady, let me pop her back up here, to give her props, that she's willing to at least go out there and say it. That in what she's putting out there, I think a lot of women gonna have a problem with her because she light-skinned it. And, here she is, she's young, etc. It's funny to hear a lot of women go in on what she's saying. And I give her props for being a woman that's willing to say it. Because usually women aren't willing to call it out, with each other. But obviously, I think most dudes want to get with her. It may be some dudes that'll be like, she kind of thin. But come on, fellas, we all know most dudes will see her and they'll be the dudes that'll be all up in her DMs, girl, I'll drink your bathwater or whatever. But then it may be a woman that even has a little bit more weight that they would do that too. But it's just funny looking at the comments. And I'm going to add something real quick. I saw Nelly Furtado has gained a lot of weight. And I'm looking at the comments. It was on Reddit. And I thought it was a bunch of bots until I saw that thing on that Facebook post. And again, it was a lot of guys in there just saying, oh, she looks so good. Oh, she looks so good. Oh, she looks so good. I'm like, Nelly Furtado is almost twice as big as she was when she was out, when she was hot, decade plus ago. But yet dudes seem now they've changed their taste. And somebody had made the statement, I think it was Coach Greg Adams said, black men seem to be the bottom feeders of the dating world. Have y'all kind of seen that?
Wait,
oh, you're like, y'all look at it. And here's what he meant. I'm going to tell you what he meant by that. And I told my sons this. The woman that is going to be the most aggressive to come after you will likely be a woman that is your size or bigger. And unfortunately, what do brothers say? And I know a woman, Eddie knows this woman as well, that when she reached her peak stage, she still said, I don't care how big I got, it's still some men out here that will get with me. And that was her basically saying, I know it's some brothers out here that'll be those bottom feeders. So that's what I tell my son.
I don't know about that bottom feeder thing, but even at that, if she considered herself bottom feeder, that's back to that self-esteem thing. I mean, who's going to view themselves as a bottom feeder or even see that they're at the bottom to be fed upon? You know what I mean? It's like, that's just, nah. Black men as bottom feeder, that doesn't even make sense. How does that make sense?
It makes sense as what my son observed when we were in Vegas, because we were in Vegas the last time we took a family trip there. And my son, Dad, he said, Dad, why is every time I seem to see a black couple, the woman is bigger than the man?
Oh,
you don't see that in any. I think you may see it in the Hispanic community, and specifically.
Wait. There are some cultures that says the bigger you are, the you got the means to feed yourself, and that's looked upon as being a positive.
Yeah, but that was probably 100 years ago when food was
yeah, I was about to say
that ain't the case now.
And this is America.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not saying me. I just said that's what I heard.
Right, because that also was a sign of fertility. That was also a sign that, okay, this
healthy,
woman,
yeah.
she's healthy. Exactly. Well, now we don't have a problem with scarcity of food. Go ahead, Eddie.
I said, yeah, when she was big, yeah, she had that little flap under her arm, man. Hey, cooking good collard greens and all that good
She can
stuff.
cook, right?
Hey, but now when you want something that's attractive that you're attracted to, you can't always settle for who likes you. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of these young cats today. They just go with
and okay,
who
There
I
likes
you
get
you.
that
go.
part. I get that part. Yep, I get that part now. You hit it. Okay,
That's what I'm saying. That's
gotcha,
what,
gotcha.
and I think that was when that statement about black men being bottom feeders. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
Or as they say, when we look at the Tyrones, let's be honest. For a lot of ethnicities, if they were to mess around with white men, they could not mess around with white men the size that they are. They could not be with a man that has a corporate job and he's the CEO company and think they're gonna roll up with him somewhere at the size they are. That is a standard that they know I can't do that. Whereas black men typically are like, hey, that's just more to push for the cushion. Not to mention that they kind of talking about their mamas in a way,
Well,
which is gonna be another thing.
I think what you're talking about is more or less, it's back to a self-esteem even for the men. It's like, well, they like me, now I like them. It's not a matter of having that standard.
Yes.
You like me? Okay, I'm down. What
Yes.
you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, I get that
Yes.
part. I mean, to some degree, but we talk about even the love languages, for example. One of the things that that's one of my questions, my staple questions or standard questions is, what do you think your love languages are, and how do you view yourself? When I hear somebody say words of affirmation is the number one, that means that to me there's a little bit of insecurity because you got to be fluffed up and lifted up way too much. And if that's your number one, I don't mind it being there because we all like to be praised and built up. Oh, you look good. But every day, well, you didn't tell me I look good. Don't yell at me. I said good morning. What do you mean? That kind of thing. Back to that self-esteem. I mean, Eddie, that takes it all the way around for me. So that attitude.
Yes.
And like you said, they have their love language just like a man has his love language.
Right.
We want to be appreciated. Just a little bit of appreciation and show some interest in the things that I'm interested in. You don't have to be like Devin said, going to the gym, busting your back and stuff like that. You don't have to be at the range every single weekend. Just show just a little bit of interest and just have some gratitude. Now that goes a long way. Now your waist size can be a little bigger if you got those qualities going.
Yes.
But there's a compromise. You're right. There's gonna be a compromise. Like, well, you know what? Yeah, you can't be big and overweight and all this, and you can't even make a sandwich.
Yeah, because my tolerance levels go. As soon as you say something wrong, get out. I don't know.
And I'm glad that we touched on this because I don't want that to be just the theme. We're talking about a woman got to be small because that's not it. I think, again, we have our bandwidth. We aren't nearly as narrow when it comes to that selection as women. If those other qualities are there, we'll overlook some poundages. The problem is sometimes you get the attitude of the 120 and, yet they clocking in 240. And you like, wait a minute. If I got to rescue you from a fire, I got to be in shape. So you can't be having 240 pounds of attitude.
Or you better have some good hair.
That glue must be strong. Right. That glue better be strong.
Exactly. And let me make it clear too. Obviously, like and subscribe, share the video to a brother that may need this. But seriously, as a man that I am a trainer, hit me up if you need training because I train men and women. But here's the key thing, especially for the ladies that may not like it. What is the trend that any trainer will tell you? When do they get women clients come in? For the wedding day and for the divorce. So if everybody is so cool with their weight and you accept me who I am, then do you even accept yourself for who you are? Because why are you going to lose weight for your wedding? What to fit in a dress? I've never heard a woman say, I'm trying to pick up 30 pounds to fit in my dress so I can give him some curves. Nope. And I've never heard a woman say, I'm trying to gain weight for my divorce so I can get back on the dating apps. Nope. And y'all know I'm always going to go to my favorite. There's a reason why all the pictures are taken like this. Because if everybody's so proud of the fupa, why don't they take it that down angle like dudes be trying to do they pics? I'm going to throw up one more thing because I thought my man, when he brought this up and he said, this is my struggle of, if I'm in the game is what I'm going to run into, especially if he wants to be an in-shape man that's out here dating. And so let me throw this chart up here because a lot of times what I find is a lot of ladies will say, and actually I had this conversation recently, is I can't because of menopause. And one of the things I was a bit surprised about is this. All right, can y'all see that there?
Yes.
All right. When we look at menopause, it's the perception is, oh, that women are the ones that gain the weight and it's easier for men to lose weight. But when you start digging into the stats, I think it says something that we probably all know because everybody over here is over 30 years old. After 30, men begin to reduce their testosterone about 1% per year. And that leads to an increase or a decrease in their muscle mass. But what happens? At 30, you didn't have kids, you're working more, you got a lot more stress in your life. Men actually gain more weight when you look at the poundage because they start picking up weight at the age of about 30 years old. A woman tends to gain most of her weight really at about 45 to 55 when she hits menopause. So it's not easier for men. It's not easy. Men aren't gaining weight. Men try to maybe say, I don't even know a guy that says he got a dad bod. That's a kind of a moniker that I think women kind of gave lately. But men gain weight. They gain even more weight than women due to andropause, less testosterone. And the woman's menopause, her hot flashes, that's changing her cravings. That's changing the things that obviously her hormonal level is all over the place. So she's eating foods that she might not have wanted to eat. Maybe that clicker saying, hey, you don't need to eat that, that's enough. It's not working the way it used to. And so when we get to the average weight that a woman gains, it's 15 pounds. My point is, if we're going to compare apples to apples, men go through even more problems in terms of gaining weight due to hormonal changes. So any woman that's still expecting her man to be in decent shape, or at least not be, looking like Jabba the Hutt, he still has a similar struggle as you do, even with your menopause. And over here, this is just showing the obesity rate that, I got my graph over here, so I didn't get a chance to show it all. I'm going to redo this chart. But when we look at obesity in the U.S. is nearly 50%. Nearly 50% of women are obese and men aren't that far behind. And so we all got work to do. It's as simple as that. Men don't have it any easier. And I know the ladies have their expectations and all, whether it's out in the dating app. And that's why I'm telling the dude, hey, man, you might have to be the guy when you get out there, too, that can, what you're going to present. And I'm not mad at you for what you want to expect, but it's going to be hard to find it. And the problem is a whole lot of people going to have the excuse fairy on why they don't have it. So I'm kind of like you, Eddie, as a man that lost a lot of weight. I don't have a whole lot of tolerance for the excuse fairy. Derek, you've been slim and trim, You don't know the struggle, brother. You don't know
the fat boy struggle. Come on, man.
You
Hey, I used to be fit. I'm not gonna kid you. I used to be in exercising a lot until I split my chest open. So I had to give that a little bit of a pause. Too much benching, too much weight. Yeah, I had to get that up for a while. So, don't eat 3 squares for me. I know Dev, he gets those mini snacks. He'll go through like 8 in a day. I eat maybe once or twice a day and I'm good.
You know what? I've gotten to the habit like Devin now. I eat for fuel. When I feel like my tank is going empty, I eat something, but it's never a real big meal. And a lot of times when I go on dates, women laugh at me like, you eat like a child. That's all I want to eat. I'm not going to overeat just because it's sitting here on my plate.
Well, right. Yeah, well, see, I eat like a child because of my taste buds, but I'm going to eat a little bit of something. I'm going to have me some meals, but I do the fast food spot more so than anything. I mean, we all got our different metabolisms and things of that sort.
Yeah. You've been a blessed brother. You've been, I think me and Eddie come from that stock. It's like, man, it's, hey, we know what it was like to be that chubby dude in school and to have the comments. And I think that's why my patience is even slimmer with a lot of ladies. It's like, I had one woman tell me one time, well, you just don't know how it feels. Man, I almost acted like I was an exorcist on that statement. I'm like, what? I don't know how it feels, girl. Let me tell you. And because it was like, no, we're gonna boot the excuse fairy out of here because it's got to be work for everybody. But all right, on that, let's go ahead and now transition to the main story of the day because I think it kind of fits being in shape, and that is about David Goggins. So, you know, I know I sent this to y'all in kind of a little bit of early show prep, and I thought it fits in really well with what we talked about last week or the other week and last show, when we looked at how the struggle of being dating, you maybe getting a divorce, how you get custody of your kids, how you handle all of that, then dealing with it post divorce. And then here it is, David Goggins. And just so people may not know, David Goggins is a motivational speaker. The brother really didn't come into, we'll say, wealth until I think it was 2018. He started out as a real chubby guy, totally rebuilt himself, fat chubby guy, rebuilt himself, went to the Navy, became a Navy SEAL, which they felt was going to be impossible for his size and how he was. And the dude said, I became a different dude. I became Goggins. And at that point, he is now, Mr. Lean and Trim, but he's not known for his physique in terms of how he's shaped. He's known for his mental toughness, running 100 miles, having knees where the doctors were like, it's a miracle you're even able to walk. How in the world are you running? And he's like, this is the man I am. This is how tough I am. And then we find out last week that, well, David Goggins has a daughter, which he has actually done interviews in the past and said that. But I guess his daughter has taken to social media to say David Goggins is a deadbeat dad. Of course, people jumped on real fast to kind of go in on him. So what I wanted to talk about with you guys today, again, kind of extending our conversation from last time, is from what you know about the story. David Goggins got his money together. And let me explain that background too, because it's relevant. He tells a story in the Aspire conference. This is where he ended up telling his side. He made approximately, I think he said $12,000 a year in 2016 when he got out the Navy. In 2016, $12,000, that brother was broke. And so he then ended up telling his story. His wife, or excuse me, his ex-wife, thought that he had money because now they're seeing him on Joe Rogan. They're seeing him on all these other national podcasts. They're thinking he has money. He did end up writing a book, and I think he made $100,000. Then he blew up and made $500,000. Now, he was married to this woman, and they divorced. I think he said when they were married a year, or at year one, when the daughter was 1 year old, they divorced. And he was in his daughter's life until she was 15. Now she's coming out saying she's a deadbeat, but he never missed his child support or anything, even paid a whopping $739,000 in child support to her at the end. And he could have pushed a whole lot back from his book deal if he would have just waited 8 months until she turned 18 years old. But yet now this dude got his money right, say he got his body right, tough as he is, got his mind right. Now this dude is being pulled out here as a deadbeat dad. What say y'all after you heard the story?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You go for it.
Oh my goodness, man! It's just disgusting the way society is. The way sometimes these ex-parents, men and women, do it too. They talk so bad about the ex that you poison the children. And when the children when they get poisoned, they turn their back on you and stuff like that. So it not only is it him losing his money, but he probably losing his mind too, out of all the things he did for his daughter, and for them to turn around and call him a deadbeat. That's really hurt.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree 100% with that one. It's a matter of, one of the things that I tried to pride myself on, despite the fact that, my ex-wife and similar situation, divorced after about a year, and my son was a year old. I didn't talk bad about him. Anything that he has heard I've said about her came from her. Oh, he says this, and I don't even talk to you. She even, the bad mouth and stuff is so relevant. You said it last week, Deb, about the children see the father through the lens of the mother. Yeah. And had the same situation. My son was like, "Oh, Dad, you did this. What are you talking about? You were 1 year old." Oh, well, I remember. You don't remember anything. No, your mother said this. And my mama, and he would say, my mom said, I act just like you. Well, how would she know? I haven't been with her in 20 years. Oh. Where you getting that from? And things of that sort. So yeah, I can feel it. I mean, the most unthankful and relentless job is being a parent. You don't get paid for it. You don't get no reward from it. You don't get no, oh, thank you. When was the last time I got to thank you? That give me. And if you don't give me, you a deadbeat dad.
Yes, man.
Whatever.
I think that's the thing that got me as well. And watching enough David Goggins videos over the years to see him, you figure the stuff this man has put his mind and body through, and on the stage, he is having to bring receipts because of what they said. And he said, "Y'all got me shaking." And, David Goggins cussed literally like a sailor. And he was like, "Y'all got me effing shaking up here." And you think, man, the stuff this dude is capable of doing, but it is this topic and this issue that got him shook. It got him shook. And the embarrassment that he has to come on stage and share this with a bunch of people, but knowing how Goggins is, it's like, and he even said it. Look, if I was the type of guy, if I wasn't paying my child support, I wasn't in my daughter's life, I'll let y'all know, yeah, I effed up. Yeah, I'm an effing deadbeat. My father did such and such to me, and I did it to my daughter. But people are like, that ain't the case. And so then now he has to go on his cell phone live in front of an audience that he's supposed to be a motivational speaker to, but because he was asked, he went and addressed it head on. And I mean, he mentioned about being thanked. I'm going to play at least the portion where his mother talks. And I thought about that. How embarrassing it is. You got to have your mama come up on stage because, as he said, ain't nobody going to believe me. I got to have my mama come up here. And then she said, David made the point, he gave all this money to his daughter and never got a thank you. And I thought about the number of times, I think we talked about a little bit before, you're lucky to get a happy Father's Day. It's not often you get a thank yous.
Yeah.
So
how about start a conversation off with hello, good morning.
Not give me, let me, save me some.
Right. It's handout.
Yes.
Man.
You think this is Allstate.
Right.
Fill it up.
And I'm going to find that clip. Y'all can go ahead. While you do that, I'm going to go ahead and find the clip that I was speaking about.
No, I mean, yeah, it's tough being a parent. I mean, it's thankless for sure. I mean, I got 2 kids, and one appreciated for sure because he's going through it. He's got the same thing. His son, he was like, "Dad, just don't appreciate nothing." Well, son, when did you?
Yes.
Well, I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And again, I did the same thing. When did you? I said, that's what we sign up for, to be a parent. It's thankless, especially as a father.
Yes.
Oh yeah. But see, the double standard is crazy because my situation is a little bit opposite. Because I took my son over. I was the parent, and no one called her a deadbeat mom. Nobody said she was trifling. Nobody said none of those negative things that I was getting when I told them, "Oh, I got custody of my son." Oh yeah, what you do to her? Was she in jail? Wait a minute. No, she just left. She just bust up. So why is she a deadbeat? That double standard always kills me. It's ridiculous.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, we've never talked about this, even about the churches and stuff. When a man say that this and this, and I want to make my marriage work, and they in it, because for me, I was in it for 2 years trying to make mine work, and then lo and behold, my wife wasn't there, right? And lo and behold, she said 2 statements out of 2 years, and the whole church turned on me. I was like, I'm here every week trying to get my stuff right. She made 2 comments, and all of a sudden, the man is the problem. Wait, what?
Yep.
Okay, I see y'all another lifetime too. That's why I don't believe in the church itself. Nah, you can leave me with that.
Oh, hold on, man. Can I lean into that one for a second?
Yeah,
man, that's deep because I think that's exactly what Goggins is going through. He's done all of this. Everybody knows him for all of this, blah, blah, blah. And all it took was his daughter to go to social media and post some stuff. Now, it was kind of different with Dr. Umar Johnson because a lot of people, like, I don't want the Umar Johnsonites to come after me. But Dr. Umar, people that I had heard it like a decade ago, folks are like, don't, dude. He kind of suspect on some stuff. So when his daughter came out, it was kind of funny because, he was always black women and you brothers with black women and y'all be taking care of these queens. It was like, well, brother, your daughter's a queen. So why you saying all that stuff about her? Your daughter black, right? Your daughter black, right? But with Goggins, and I think we see this with other men, but particularly with Goggins, regardless of everything he's done, all it took was now this to come out and now tarnish his image, and everybody, I won't say everybody, but a lot of people started going in that direction. Like you said, it happened at the church.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, I knew you were too good to be true. Yeah, I can see all this. Yeah, that's right. You're a deadbeat. Oh, you get receipts? Oh, Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, how did the church deal with you? Because I've noticed that I think for a lot of men, that a lot of church going guys, and I'll even throw myself included in a lot of ways in that, with the way the church, and that's why I talk about religion, and I talk to say, guys, you religious guys out here, because it's not even just evangelical Christianity. I know it can be a lot of Mormon guys, whatever. But I talk about that a lot because I found that a lot of religious guys go through your same experience, where when it's divorce time, they basically get canceled out. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
support is for the woman, yet he's supposed to be the leader of his house, but yet he can't hold that woman accountable. But yet Jesus holds us accountable. The whole
Yeah, it
thing
was.
about God being the Father holds us accountable.
It was a different scenario for me for sure. I mean, because again I tried to involve. We got married in the church. Well, no. I take that back. We got married in Vegas, but we were strong in the church every week. She was a head usher, this, that, and the third. And one of the things I tried to do is make sure that the church we were doing the things we were supposed to. You know, I was a church photographer. I was there 3 days, 3 times on Sunday, all week, doing everything, taking pictures, da 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 da. And they literally just turned on me. And once the divorce, it's been what, about 14 years. I haven't heard from one of them since the announcement of the divorce. None of them. This includes that wonderful pastor that hung me out to dry over some money. Man, don't get me started, man.
Get started, man. That's what this is about. Get started.
Man,
I got my story on the pastor too, so go ahead.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the church was a big church. It had 3 services and about 6,000 members. And this guy was like, well, you know, I had gotten laid off. As I said before, I was working 5 jobs. A few of the different jobs were photography, consulting, and things of that sort. So I was the photographer for the church, and he was like, man, can you do our money is funny on this and that and this and this, and can you do a donation of your time to get this, because our money on this particular event is short. And I was telling another guy that was on that, he looked at me and was like, well, we got money. We set aside good money for a photographer. And lo and behold, I got paid for it. And who had to sign the check? The pastor. And he just flat out lied about it and said they didn't have no money. That told me all I need to know. I was like, dude, this is what the church is supposed to be about. When somebody's in need, you don't take out their pocket, you put in their pocket to help. And I ain't talking about pay me wealthy and big stuff. Just give me something. How about pay me what I'm worth? Because you ask for donations, even if you ain't got it, you still looking for it. I was like, you know what? A church is a building with men and women in it. Men and women are scantless and do whatever they can to get what they want. That's all it is. That's all it is. I ain't got time for it.
I'll say, you know, in mine, very similar story in terms of resources. To go to a church that was very theologically strong. You look at the pastor's bio, you know, he had a seminary degree at an Ivy League school and da-da-da. And I loved his teaching style. So from a theological perspective on, let's just say the X's and O's, or we'll just say the chapters and the verses, my man was really good. However, when I went to him in need, and unlike everybody who says, oh, usually the wife has to take the husband to counseling, he won't go, I ended up taking my ex to counseling. To go to the church and say, this is the problem that we're having. And I'm asking, do y'all have any resources to help with this? First thing they say is, oh, well, we have the pastor. Okay, well, he better be darn good, but I know he know his stuff, so maybe he does. And what I realize is, like most pastors, just because they say they're a marriage counselor or counselor, they did the equivalent of taking like a doggone online class, or they went to doggone Reverend Billy Jackson's course, or you know, and took a class on counseling, and now they can say they're able to counsel. And we say, well, they actually don't have to have any training because they got the training from the Holy Spirit, from the Lord, from white Jesus. So therefore, since he's getting the word from him, then it doesn't matter about the other stuff. Oh, but it does. So long story short, when everything went down and actually started to collapse, I stopped going to the church. They asked why. You know how churches send that letter like, we haven't seen you in a while, brother. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you why. And then the pastor made a direct call to me. And I told him, I said, you know what I find interesting is, number one, when I came to you for counseling, you didn't hear nothing I said, because you looked at my personality, that I'm putting everything out on the table. But instead, you wanted to pay more attention to her crocodile tears. That moved on you. Probably showed me what a simp pastor was right there anyway. but that moved on you. And then he was even asking me questions of things that I brought up in counseling. He was like, I didn't know it was like that. I'm like, I told you. I sat there and told you, but he wasn't listening. And I said, what's incredible to me, if you all want to be the church and I come to you and I say, this is what I need help with, and you don't even have outside services set up for me to get that help, now, then what's the point of me going to the church then? You know, what's the point in me saying this is going to be my place of refuge? If we're going to look at what Paul talked about in Corinthians, that, you know, hey, we shouldn't be suing a brother in basically, we'll say, the worldly court. We should take it to the house of God and we should get all of our disputes worked out. Then where were y'all able to do that? What resources did you have? But Derek, to your point, you know what a lot of resources they have? They got resources for that praise and worship, for the people that sang and dance and all of that stuff. They got the resources. And I learned, and I'll still say this, I'll wrap this point up. What I found is a lot of guys stop going to church because of usually something that happens with their wives. And it seems to be a collapse. And I'm going to say stop going to church. I'm saying I'll go as far as to say there seems to be even a splitting away of their faith. And that's one reason why this show exists. Because I want to be able to talk to even the religious guys about it. Because I know your pastor don't have much support. Because at the end of the day, Derek touched on it. When they pass that collection plate, and especially if you're in a certain ethnicity of a type of church where they actually have more women there than men, do you actually think he's going to ever preach anything or do anything that's going to go against who is paying his check and paying for that Cadillac every single Sunday? Ain't going to happen. Sorry, Eddie, go ahead. Get on in here.
Man, well, I can't relate too much. The only part I can relate to is the business aspect of it. I refuse now to do any electrical work for churches anymore. Because it's all no, really, because it's always, we tight on funds, and like you said, that Cadillac sitting out there. You know, you got the Cadillac, the Benz. Even one guy had a doggone Bentley, and we can't afford these lights. And can you don't? No, I'm in business for a reason. I can't. I can give you a discount. I can give you a break. But don't let that be the first thing come out your mouth as soon as I give you my estimate on what it's going to cost.
I get that family discount, that brother man discount.
Oh, brother, you know, we going to pray for you. And you did such a good job last time. So we paid you full price last time. So this time when you come back, we want you to knock something off. No.
That's not how that works.
No, yeah, exactly. You know, I don't know, man. I just think some of these churches and stuff, man, is just more of an old people club than actually the house of Lord.
That's a strong point.
Something there.
You ain't lying. That's definitely something there.
Well, if you think about it, they get all dressed up, perfumed up. They go listen to music. They drive the good cars. Only difference is during the daytime.
Yeah, you're right.
So do pimps. I mean, what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know.
Pimps or pastors, huh? What?
Right. Pinky ring.
And this came up. I'm going to bring it up because it's a great conversation I've had with my girl and my brother recently as we kind of looking at the book of Job. And in the book of Job, you know, we won't go all in detail, but how we got there. But you have Job is having everything taken away from him. And Satan said, I want to be able to take all of his, well, actually, he was given permission, we'll say, to take whatever he wanted, but he couldn't take his life. Y'all want to guess the one thing Satan did not take from Job? I'll give you one guess.
His life.
He didn't take that. He couldn't do that. He could take everything else, but what didn't he take? Any guess?
His health? I don't know.
Took his health. He left his wife. Now, why didn't Satan kill his wife? He killed his kids, took his wealth, but he left his wife.
Was she hell on earth? I mean, what?
Well, hey, that's why. Hey, you took the words out of my mouth. Was you a demon? Hold on.
The very thing that Satan actually said that Job would do, which is if I take all of this from him, he will actually specifically Satan said, if you take all of this from him, he will curse God and die. Y'all want to guess what his wife actually told him to do? Curse God and die. It was like, maybe that's why Satan didn't take her because she actually ended up doing Satan's bidding.
Didn't I just say demon? Did I say demon?
And my point is, when we look at these things theologically, we can be in the church, and most pastors aren't going to go ahead and tell that side of the story. They aren't going to teach everything in its totality because that's going to mess up their money pit. I'm not even going to go into my diatribe about divorce. We're going to bring this back on to David Goggins, but I'm so glad you mentioned that. Thanks for sharing, Derek, because I think Goggins is still that cautionary tale. Is it any different if you're a dude that's in the church right now and you going through some mess, and now where's the church supporting you? Especially if she's able to come out with the kids and say, you know, he's a deadbeat dad. What's the church going to do? Are they going to side with her, or are they going to side and just find out the facts?
No, nobody wants to call a lady a liar, right?
Nope. Nope.
I will.
And I mean, and that's as I think as the scripture says, hey, everybody's a liar. God is the true one. So, you know, let's keep it fair. Real quick, let me throw out some stats real fast. Because when I look at this Goggins situation as a military man, now the stats were kind of all over the place. Military marriages actually have a divorce rate greater than the general public. But when it comes to the elite forces, like, you know, here's a Navy SEAL, it was like estimates range from 40 to 80%. And it makes sense that it would be hard to keep those marriages together. And he was married twice. When we look at child support, I found that the average child support is about $430, $440 a month. Custodial parents don't collect the full amount. Now, if y'all want to, let's go and touch on that child support thing for a moment, because he said that was the most in child support history. A lot of people think that when they pay child support, that goes straight to the mother.
No.
For those who don't understand how the system goes, if you guys want to expound on that, how much money generally goes to the mother, number one? And number two, have y'all ever had a woman ask for more in addition to the child support check that she was getting?
Child care. Child support and child care is two different things. And the man still have to pay for it in a lot of instances. But sometimes, I mean, when I was going through it, there was this statutory fees that actually was very small. That wasn't monumental. I mean, to be honest, they got most of the money. I mean, I can't recall. Heck, it's close to 100%. It wasn't that much going to the statutory piece, but when it came down to other pieces, yeah, they're gonna ask for the child support, they're gonna ask for clothes, they're gonna ask for shoes, they're gonna ask for books, they're gonna ask for sports. I mean, they expect that to be paid. And you know, I don't know, man. Don't get me started on divorces and the fact that a man is still required to do all the things that he promised when he got married, he still got to do, but the woman can't do the thing, don't have to do any of the things she promised, but the man still have to maintain that after the divorce. Come on.
And it goes back to that court system. It goes back to that court system. They want to label you as the leader after the divorce is gone to make you pay everything, but they don't want to make her pay. You want half on that baby. Half of that child is hers. So she should take half of those extracurricular activities, the karate, the basketball. She should be paying half of that. In reality, if I'm making all my child support payments, the judge has set this is what he has to pay to take care of that child. So if the judge has set that and I'm doing that, then it shouldn't be nothing else to talk about. But you can't do that because you love your child. You got to take care of your child, because if you don't, the mother's going to say, oh, you see, I needed this extra money from your daddy and he wouldn't even give me this extra money. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You know, those calculations are not nationwide. So they sometimes even come up with, you know what, not just like he said, 19. Well, Michigan is 18.
Yeah.
Some places say, well, if they're in school, now you got to pay for that. In college, that is. You got to pay for that. Yeah. And it's like, no. You're 18 and an adult, period. You make your own decisions. You're supposed to make your own money.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not my situation. The person that I know, his ex-wife encouraged his children to go to school so she could continue to get child support.
Hey,
she encouraged them to go to school even one day a week. They're still in school, so he is still paying.
And paying child support, not for the school.
Oh, he's both.
Oh, man.
And damn, I told it. He doesn't even want to go to school. He wants to go to a trade school. He doesn't even want to go to quote unquote college.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I think that goes again, being the goose that lays a golden egg. And Derek, you touched on the main thing, I think, and let's do a public service announcement for guys that don't even stinking have a clue. Because we talked about with just going through divorce, dudes don't even have a clue. Like you said, you got child care, you have child support.
Mm-hmm.
Child support, it cracks me up. A lot of guys don't even go online. It's easy because I had to pay most of mine. We couldn't go online to find anything out. You sitting up there, standing in front of the referee or the judge, and then they tell it. Now you can at least go online, do the little calculator, put your income in there and everything else, and find out how much you're going to have to pay. But a lot of dudes do say, and I did it as well, I paid you my child support. I shouldn't have to give you more money. Sometimes there is a huge disparity there. And I think a reason why we have such a large disparity, because as a man who had a child at first with just one woman, but then I had a family with another woman, what I learned was the woman that's a part of my family, she realizes that, you know what, we don't have a whole lot of money, so let's buy the cheaper stuff. Maybe it was whether it was going shopping at the Salvation Army or we gonna pick up what's on sale. But when the woman that gets the child support check, she might want to dress her kid in Nikes. She might want to dress her kid in the new Jordans that are coming out. And then he's coming to you saying, Daddy, I want the new Jordans. I don't even know what gym shoes cost nowadays. Eddie, I know this is your area where, you know, it's like, I'm thinking $100 is expensive. I know Eddie going to tell me wiser on that.
$100 for what, the shoestrings?
Right. So that's what I would be like. And yet, you know, she's like, well, he want, I don't know, let's say $300. Well, can you give 150? I'm like, I don't walk around in $150 gym shoes, but that's what he wants. And that's where that child care gets real fuzzy there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I'm a firm believer. The older you get, the more options you are afforded. As your child, you don't have options. Unfortunately, too many folks, and I say women because I see it more so, but too many folks, parents, Johnny wants. I don't give a what Johnny wants. What do you need? You know, I was a firm believer, and you know, when I raised my ex's kids and stuff, my philosophy is if you got holes in your clothes, I'm ripping your clothes off so that I can go tomorrow and go buy you some new ones. Daddy wear holes so my kids don't have to. And I took care of their needs in that respect, and that's how we roll. And you know, it was a big thing. Daddy, guess what? He got holes over there. I'm like, come on over here. Yeah. This is my favorite shirt. Not anymore. Let's go get you some more. And go from that route. But yeah, you ain't got no option.
Sure. And I think that's a problem too. They always want to give the kids options. That's a child.
Yeah, exactly.
They're brand new. They don't know what they want. I had a chick I was dating, had a kid, and she said, oh, well, she likes steak and lobster too. I said, I'll be damned if I'm going to buy a 5-year-old steak and lobster. He's going to be eating them doggone nuggets. I know.
That's right. That's right.
What did she likes it? She says it's yummy. I said, I wouldn't give a damn.
Tell her it's lobster. Tell her the nuggets are lobster. She'd be all right.
They have no idea.
Right.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Well, you're going to be hungry.
It's a lobster nugget.
Yep.
And that's the thing. I think you can get away with that. Well, we'll say a little bit better, not necessarily all the time, depending on who your wife is. It's a lot easier to get away with that when you're with the woman, but when you're not with that woman, because when you're with the woman, she again may understand. I think, you know, my ex-wife would have understood. We sacrifice here because we saving this money to go on a nice vacation there. You know, whereas when you're not with that woman, she's looking at it as, oh, you're depriving your child and my child from having such and such.
Yeah.
And that
don't care about your other
complex.
Kids.
Oh, actually, it makes it worse. It makes it far. Public service announcement again, geez. Public service announcement, like and follow, because we trying to tell y'all something. If you choose, and this is for you young guys, you young Iron Fathers out there, soon to be. If you have a child with one woman and y'all divorce, or that's not, you know, ends up not being your wife, and you gonna end up starting a family with somebody else, oh, you talk about pocket watching. That woman's gonna be CIA level in your business, in your bank account, because don't let her see your other kids with stuff that her kid does or kids does not have. And
Yep.
you better be able to justify. And if you paying child support, oh, you gonna be going back down to the courthouse for sure.
Didn't y'all go on TikTok? Did y'all just go to the Bahamas? All of y'all?
That's why I don't do social media.
Hello. Hello.
You can't find me.
So that leads me to this question. I mean, obviously Goggins, and we're going to touch on this in a moment, but obviously Goggins was in a case where he had a kid at a very young age before he became rich. What do you all think that men should do? You get guys who say, I'm going to not pay through the court. Me and my girl, we get along fine, or maybe it's even in divorce. They may say, you know what, we are getting along fine, and maybe they do. So I'm not going to go through the court system and pay. Because Derek, you're right. When I looked at it, for most states, most friend of the court or whatever your municipality happens to call it, you might, quote unquote, only end up paying 1% or so of the fee that you have to pay every month or what you're paying your child support. Now, you multiply that by hundreds of thousands of people that are paying, the state gets a whole lot of money from that. And the main thing, look, it's not personal, it's business. And I had to learn this and get it through my head. The state is just looking at it like this. They're not coming after you, sir, but they say, we're not taking care of that woman. Even in the case of divorce, why do women get a bigger payout in divorce? Because the state is saying, look, either you going to take care of her or we going to take care of her, and we not going to take care of her. We going to make you take care of her. And for a lot of you guys that aren't even married to your kid's mother, and when she goes in there and has that baby and that hospital bill comes in, you think the hospital going to eat that? You think the state insurance she's on going to eat that? No, my friend, they're going to bill you because they're not going to put that on the taxpayers, at least not yet. So what would you all say a dude that thinks about, I'm not going to go through the court system. I just want to go ahead and pay her on the side because we're getting along fine.
Keep receipts for sure. If you do that, you make sure you put it in. It's going to be, don't give her cash flat out.
Never,
don't give her cash,
never.
You never just. And if it's if it's on Venmo, if it's on this, you make sure you never say it's a gift. You make, because the courts will say, well, you gave that to her because you gifted it. You got to have proof that you were giving some kind of support. You either name it support or you be very specific for the kids' shoes, for the kids' school, for childcare, for this, for that, blah, 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 because they'll go back retroactive and come get you. So that's one area. Second one is, you know what? I'm going to be above board. I'm going to put a child support order together and we can agree and have it go through the court. It doesn't have to use the child support system per se, but it's documented through. Because for me, I got 2 kids. They had their money before I did because I had to take it out of my check before I got it. Don't come asking me. Get yours first. I don't want to hear. I ain't getting no child support. Well, it's out of my check, So it's a catch-22 on either way you look at it, because every 2 years you're eligible for the friend of the court to get it reviewed again and goes up. Now, what gets me is that child support is never based off of minimum wage, which is interesting. Meaning, if I don't have a job, minimally, you're supposed to charge them minimum wage. When it comes to a divorce and a woman's not working, she technically should be given, public announcement, the amount in her that she makes is minimum wage. Even if she doesn't have a job, how are you surviving?
Ooh.
Yeah.
You can't come back and say, well, I don't have a job. You live it. You minimum wage making something happen. Otherwise, you selling something under the table. We don't do that. Minimum wage. And guess what? I never had an attorney for any of my child support, and they literally in front of baby mama was asking me to join their collective. These are the attorneys and judges in order to help fight for men's rights. I said, I can't get mine. Why I care about somebody else? Y'all system is broke. It's broken. Don't ask me to help fix it when I'm on the tail end heading out, and I've been here darn near every month for 18 years, at least every other month, and I didn't even live close by, and I still can't see my son. Miss me with that.
Wow, man, you said something there I think is important to mention to a lot of guys out there, and that is how you represent yourself It's
Yeah.
so funny. It's bad enough this new generation. I don't know what y'all thinking when you go into a job interview dressed any kind of way. But Derek, I had the same thing happen to me. The last time I think I was in court, it might have been the last time I ever had to go. And I went in and I was in the elevator going up, got there early, and I'm in the elevator and I had my sport coat on. And mind you, at that time, I was still, I was still on the struggle bus, but I had my one navy blue sport coat. My friend
Yep.
gave me a tie, my white shirt, my shoes. That was the one good outfit I had. And somebody asked me what court case or something I was on. Like, huh? And they thought I was a lawyer. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was my best day in court, actually, because not only the judge actually sided with me, and I'll never forget, she ended up telling my son, and Derek, I always going to give you props for this because this goes back to when our friendship really got solidified. It was all about my son's last name, and he wanted to have it changed back to his mother's. And it was you, brother, who told me, man, you fight for that. Don't let that happen. It's important that your son have your last name. And I went to that court hearing. And walking in looking like I was a lawyer, that lady looked at me and then she kind of was like telling my son, you ought to be glad your father wants you to have his last name. Because I see a lot of other guys that come in here, they don't want their kids. Their fathers don't care about them as much. And it was all about presentation. And after sitting in court a lot of times, heck, even when I was going through the divorce, I'm still looking around at other dudes. I'm like, these dudes act like they're going to the hoedown. These dudes act like they're going to play some ball. Y'all in court. And so I know if you're going to the club or I know if y'all going out on a date, you dress a little bit better. You need to be dressing better when you walk inside that courtroom because it's going to really impact probably how much you end up walking out paying.
And that's an absolutely wonderful point there because let's be honest. We talking about brothers and sisters, black folk. We already got things against us. We don't need to look like we're carrying through the stereotype. We have to be above approach, not be the same. We have to present ourselves accordingly. I went in every time with the friend of the court statue in a notebook, flipped to the pages I needed, and I said, section so-and-so, you need help? I can show it to you. It says X, Y, and Z, and she ain't getting a dime extra from me. You're right, sir. That is exactly how it's interpreted. Ma'am, you're not getting shit. Thank you.
And did you have anything you want to throw in there? If you were on the other side, which we know most men aren't on. Matter of fact, I think you fall into the 30% of the statistics that said 30% of custodial parents don't receive any money. So I think you
got money?
In that category.
I got not one red penny. I got nothing. And when I
was
did,
about to say.
when I did try to take her to the friend of the court, they laughed me out of there. They said, I'm a man and I need to get 2 jobs to support my child. I said, but she's not doing anything. She's not helping out with nothing. I said, this is all me. I said, I'm not living with another woman. I said, I'm doing all of this by myself. And the lady at the counter told me, you need to get 2 jobs then.
Now, interestingly enough, when this is, of course, years ago, they had 7 ways to make a man pay for money and had 0 ways of forcing a woman to make sure that man saw their child.
Yeah.
I mean, they know how to gank your money. They'll take your driver's license, your taxes, garnish you, put you in jail. When it comes to, can I see my child? Let him see his child. Go ahead. Maybe next week.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a struggle. So yeah, kudos to you for fighting it though. But yeah, this system, and again, I don't know I don't have any young kids now, but I don't know what the system look like right now.
Yeah, well, I got so frustrated the first time I went there, it left a sour taste in my mouth. So I never went back again. Like I said, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and we figured it out. Yeah. Me and my son been through some struggles and he's seen what struggle was like and he's seen how to stick by it until you accomplish what you need to accomplish. Don't sit there and cry about it. You got to get out there and do something about it.
So you pulled yourself up by your bootstraps. What you do? Go over there in Detroit on Watch Mozambique, do some male stripping like a lot of ladies do, and they gotta pull themselves up.
I got me an OnlyFans page.
Yeah,
they had OnlyFans and you were in it.
Just my feet. No.
Just my feet. The one with the big bunion.
Yeah, that one right there, that side knuckle. Yeah, that one's on there.
Man, them chicks be up there so liquored up, it don't matter. They be like, I just saw something in there. I just know. Because it is funny. I mean, it's messed up. You had to be they said you need to be a man. You need to man up and take care of your kid, and you did. Whereas again, it's a reason. What is it called? Women, infants, and children. I mean, that program in and of itself, we all big on language and making sure we use the right language about a group.
And you know the funny part about it? The funny part about it is no one from her side of the family ever reached out to try to help do anything.
Oh no.
Hey, you need this? Hey, you need that? Well, how's he doing? Well, let me come pick him up for the weekend. Nope. Nothing.
Hey, is WIC still around?
Who?
WIC. WIC. Women, Infants, Children. That's still
let me see, actually.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard it spelled out in a minute.
According to the old search assist, it looks like it is still out. Government assistance online. How to enroll? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wait, of course.
EBT.
Of course.
What is it called? Snap now? What is it? Snapple? What is that new one that they got?
I think EBT or Snap.
EBT. Oh, yeah, the EBTs, man. They done got tight with those.
But I love this because here it is. It's still called Women, Infants, and Children Nutrition Assistance, but then they got a dude up there with his daughter.
Right.
Y'all know you have to be black too, right?
Of course.
Eddie, didn't they say what they say? Well, you still a man, you better figure it out. That's why they don't have it on there. That's why it's got WIC.
Exactly.
And that weird.
Yep. And I mean, hey, like you said, man, the government, that's where I do struggle with telling guys, on getting the government involved. Because on one end, I understand why they may not want to. But on the other end, I know like you said, Derek, you got to cover yourself. And I like the idea that you had of, like the divorce lawyer said, work out something in peaceful times. So maybe work out what payment is fair with that woman while y'all at peace before she starts dating somebody, before you start dating somebody.
Maybe you got to knock one out while you're making that decision. Oh, girl, come on. Let's go ahead.
You better have a clutch in the sheet.
Hey, bite that headboard.
This is what is it? Child support negotiation Wednesday.
Here, sign this.
Exactly. Hey, that's how the ladies do us, though. That's for sure. So you
for real.
And if anything, let some OGs tell y'all that 9 seconds of your orgasm, depending on your age, that 9 seconds of your orgasm ain't worth 20 years. Let's just make it even 20 years of child support. Because like Derek said, you still got child care. And I think when you got kids not leaving the house until they 30 years old now, if they still living in mama's house, they still gonna be calling and asking you for some money.
They can ask.
You still gonna have drama whether you're getting along with the mama, because as Derek said, children view the father through the eyes of the mother. So as long as mama's salty with you, your kid's gonna be kind of salty with you. But if you think they're gonna hesitate to dial your phone, send you that text asking you for some money because y'all ain't getting along or you ain't seeing them, you out your stinking mind. And I think that's what Goggins teaches us in this situation as well. He was still getting hit up paying off. So
he made some statements about how much he even gave extra, and it still wasn't enough to get a thank you.
I think he gave her an even meal ticket. I think he ended up saying he gave her an even meal ticket after everything was said and done.
Yeah, that's what his boy was like. Are you? And then you hear his friend even said not only did he want to give her a meal to make it even, he said something about retiring the other ex-wife.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if y'all caught that. He made the statement that when he paid the daughter that I guess came out and said this, when he paid that money, and I guess he must have paid the mom some money, she then divorced her husband. Yeah. So it was like, man, the game is cold. Because she got this money payout by the ex and was like, I'm out now. But before we go, I do want to play this portion because I thought it was important. Because to look at the Goggins story and the fact that my man had to bring his mama up on stage, I think that says a lot.
I responded, and I put my little TikTok stuff out there. And I had to tell the truth about conversations that I had as a grandmother with my granddaughter about her dad. How she never called him dad. She always referred to him as David. As a young girl, he was David to her. I called him dad more than she did. Whenever I'd ask her to come visit me, she would say, only if David is not going to be there. That hurt me. That hurt David. I would beg her. I would beg her to try to have a relationship with her dad, and she said no. Now, you all know, and it's no secret, that David's dad was a piece of shit. He's dead now. But he beat us. He beat David to the point where I couldn't send him to school on certain days. But I made him, after I left, I made him go see his dad. Because that's what mothers are supposed to do. Is to do that. I could not weaponize my children to hurt their dad.
Amazing mom.
And it wasn't until one incident when I was begging Jade to come spend the night with me and her dad. And she refused multiple times in front of him. Then he finally said, Mom, quit. Mom, stop. And I did. I had no idea how much I was hurting David by trying to convince his daughter to be in his life. Now, I know that.
Fast forward here some to the end.
Be back. David, you don't even thank me for the things I've done. I sent you $1,000 for your 16th birthday and don't even get a thank you. I have never gotten a thank you for anything I've done for you. Not to mention you have never wished me happy birthday, Father's Day, or anything else. I'm not going to do this back and forth with you. One day you will see I am a good man. If you don't, I understand. I never liked my father either because he beat me. Now, I just want to read the response.
I want to get to David's final words here.
Is my absent father. So what I didn't tell you what was the reason why I've been absent from your life for the last several years is because of what you just heard.
Real Housewives.
I couldn't stand my mom for making me see my dad. So when my daughter just kept saying, I don't want to see anymore, I don't want to see anymore, I don't want to see anymore, roger that.
And I think that's where I wanted to cut it off. Where he got to the point, roger that. You don't want to see me anymore? Fine. Yeah. So let me play devil's advocate to y'all. Is he just being a bitter? Is he being petty? Is he being bitter? Shouldn't he be? He's the father. And I did read one comment that said that. He's the father. He should be above this. He has a hurting child. But yet he's
above what?
Roger that.
Above what? Being beat down every time you make it. You know, you know what the sad thing is that we love our children. He's never expressed that he did not love his daughter. But at a certain point, you got to say, you know what? I can't keep reaching my hand, my neck, my everything out and getting it cut off, because at a certain point, you don't have it to give anymore. You don't have that emotional fortitude to say, you know what? I'm going to continue to go out here and badger myself and hurt myself. He's done it for 18 years or whatever that time span is. At a certain point, what can you do? You know, you don't do that with a wife. I mean, I understand children are different. I get that. But let's be truthful. We talk about unconditional love. Unconditional love is not mean I got to be present for you to continue to abuse me. Unconditional love is I still love you, but I can love you over here. I don't have to be in your presence to do it. Women are different. They they have unconditional love that's always, oh, I don't care if they just beat me and did this and do this for a child, they're gonna be there. Men, we don't have that emotional piece that women do. We're not gonna extend ourselves out emotionally like that, not for an extended period of time where there's no end date. No, we're not gonna do it. Now, my kids will tell you, I'm not the most emotional person, but when it comes to my kids, I try to be because they need that. But I'm pretty direct. Emotions change. My decisions shouldn't. So I don't base things off emotion and go from there.
You can't.
I don't blame them. That's all. I guess the bottom line, I don't blame them. Don't blame them at all. You gave all this money and all this and this, and you done took all this, and you still can't even say thank you. How much does it cost to say thank you when somebody literally did something for you? You in a better place. Give me a meal. Thank you.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything on that, Eddie?
18.
Hey, I agree with Derek 100%, man. It's like you can only be emotionally stomped on for so much. You can't take it. You mentally can't take it. Your body can't take it because it all goes back to what I said before, feeling appreciated. So why should I keep doing and doing and doing for you and you steady slapping me in the face and never saying I'm sorry? But I still come back, get slapped in the face. After a while, I don't have no more face, no more. It's all slapped away. So I agree. If you want to feel that way, hey, feel that way. I still love you. I still care about you. But what you putting me through, I can't tolerate that.
Absolutely.
You know what?
I don't have to be present for abuse.
Yes.
What I found is that, again, listening to just some people I know, some comments that have been made, and just reading some things, is oftentimes people will side with the kids because they'll say no matter what, the parents should take it, namely the father. To be honest,
Right.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, yeah, mama, it was good. Mama finally put him down. Usually it's like dad shouldn't have done it. Because mamas, like you said, Derek, mamas are always going to be there to a certain degree. Because I think when we look at a mother-daughter relationship, we do see more of a split. We probably have all talked to women that don't have that relationship with their daughter anymore. But, again, shout out to Esther Villar, who pointed out a woman is not going to be that quick to cut her son off. Why? Because that son is actually meant to replace you one day. So that's always going to be mama's boy because she's making
talked about that.
Right. She's thinking, I may have to call my son in 30 years to come over here when these guys need to work on my house. And that son may be in some money. I may have to live with him. So she going to tighten that up. But there's still those I found that if their parents got divorced, they tend to be a lot more sympathetic siding with the child, even if the child is 30 years old, because they go back to being a child themselves. It's like, nope, no matter what, you shouldn't have hurt feelings for your kids because they kids.
Yeah. Especially when they get adults.
But now guess what? It's back to, well, how did you raise them? And you wonder why they're doing what they're doing? My oldest son told my my youngest son's mother that, you know what? You want me to call? She called him and say, well, your brother doing this and your brother doing this. And he said, you know what? Because they like 10 years apart. Well, you know what? My dad wanted to raise him like he raised me. And you said, no, you created this. He would have been a different man if my dad was more involved, if you let him, because that's all he wanted. Yeah. So guess what? Good luck with the guy, the son you raised. And I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
At least you can wish me luck.
All right, as we get ready to close, I do just want to point out David Goggins got the body, even though he might not have had the body when he was married to her, or and like I say, he divorced her, I guess, when the daughter was 1 year old. But now he has the money. Dude's been married twice. Sometimes no matter how much money you have, the game is cold. A lot of these guys, how many times Elon Musk been married? How many kids does he have? Jeff Bezos. I mean, just because these guys have money, this is the other part about being a high value man. We use that terminology. Kevin Samuels made it popular. But the real deal is, what is a high value man? Because high value men, if we only count it in terms of money, they get shook too. And they got women problems. Maybe a high value man should just be a man that goes his own way and we'll just say has his program type with women. I don't know how we can define it, but it still goes to show no matter how much money you have, you're not immune. You're not immune to having that ex come up, be like, Eddie, I saw you. You don't have no social media, but I got secrets to tell, and and to pull you down. Not trying to
Good
get
luck.
nobody any ideas. But all right, y'all, again, thank y'all as always. It's always insightful. And again, everyone, please like, subscribe, follow the show. We're doing this on a regular basis now. And I wanted to touch on the Goggins point because this is the one that's really out there. And I thought this definitely applies to the audience, because if this can happen to a millionaire, what in the world you think can happen to a thousandaire? Or what do you think can happen to that minimum wage guy? Because a lot of you young guys will get a whole lot from this. But anything you guys want to throw in before we go ahead and call it a day, or any updates you want to throw in? Maybe some of y'all dating adventures. I don't want to cut that short because I want to make that a regular part of things as well.
Mm-mm. No, I'm good, man. Yeah, it was a good show, man. Yeah.
There's always a statute of limitations before you can tell, right?
It's your turn.
What? Huh?
There's always a statute of limitations.
Hey, if I go back to some of the old stories, they're going to know exactly who I'm talking about. And my new stories now ain't worth telling. So.
No, all right. Y'all hit Eddie Vance up so y'all can get that man some new stories out here. He's available. You see where he's living.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good right now.
Hey, man, they're gonna be thick.
Hey, good. I don't want no big backs in my Cadillac. Sorry.
No big backs in your Cadillac. Hey, that's what a Cadillac built for. Well, the Cadillac is
not mine. It's twin turbo. So
you don't want to waste that fuel, do you?
No.
Put him in that Mustang.
No falling ass.
Man, they won't fit in the Mustang too well. That's the problem. But between both of my, I take that back. On my Toyota, they are fitting that because that's that ride that got some space to it. But in both of my sports cars, yeah, I'm the type of dude that a woman getting there, and if she a little too, we'll say robust. Certainly my Prelude, I'll be, you know how it is, fellas, y'all be shifting, and when you got that extra weight in the car, it's like, man, I gotta rev this thing up to get it moving.
I won't go in fifth.
You hitting thighs trying to go to the next you trying to go in reverse and you elbowing people.
Wow.
And then,
man.
you help people get out, or like my father used to say, sometimes folks get out the car and it goes like that.
Yeah. Or you see him like, man, that's riding kind of low. Oh, she got out. My bad. It's cool.
There it is. And hey, again, to each his own. I know what I like. Just like I'll give mad respect to you ladies. You all know what you like, and y'all stand on it. And again, props for that. My only encouragement is that you fellas, y'all stand on what you like as well, and stop being thirsty just because you want to get your little pee-pee wet. That's what we started. That's the real goal of what we're saying.
Right. All attention ain't good attention.
Yes.
Oh, she really likes me.
Yes. Exactly. So fellas, thank y'all as always. Again, y'all like, subscribe, feel free to share the show. Let us know if you have any questions. Email me at joinironfather@gmail.com or put something down in the comment section below. I'm not going to say I'm going to answer and read every one of them because some of y'all get kind of crazy with your comments. And I'm like, what the heck are they talking about? But, I will read them because that way we want to pass them on to make sure we use it for a show. But if you're talking crazy, I ain't going to waste my time responding to you. A lot of you, I can understand why you sit up there and complain about women, because the way you articulate yourself online, if you do the same thing when you're talking to a woman, that's exactly why these women act the way they do, because they run into some cats like you that can't even type. I mean, I know spell check gets you sometimes, but when you looking like, I don't even know, like somebody in doggone some third world country type that up and then put it through Google Translate, I don't know what people be talking about. So anyway, so yeah, fellas, it gets bad. So all right, y'all. Until next time, folks. Peace.
Peace.